teach about things that he doesn't know about, and things that he lies and says he does know about. That, man, I'm going to start making a video. Every time he drops a video, I'll make a video pointing out every lie and every BS thing in the video, because everything he says is a lie. His history is a lie. He claims to have all this history in dogs that goes back to the 70s and the 80s and all this, but he does not. Not in American Bulldogs, not in American Pit Bull Terriers, not in none of it. He does not. He does not. His career started when his YouTube channel started. He has no history. It's all invented. He sits online, smokes black and milds, and reads articles and reads this and reads that, and then gets on there and acts like he's the one that knows about it, like he has firsthand knowledge of it. Now, I just saw a stunt where he's trying to expose these registries as being phony and fake and hanging papers, when he's talking about the Old English Bulldog, which he constantly called the Oldie English Bulldog. Even the lady on the phone corrected him a little bit and was like, Old English Bulldog, you mean? Type thing. He can't even pronounce it. And you know what that tells me? Think about this, people. You know how somebody who've only read a word in books and have never actually heard it spoken don't know how to say it? They pronounce it inappropriately because they don't know how to say it, because they've actually never heard a proper pronunciation of the word. He's never even been taught how to pronounce Old English Bulldog. He doesn't understand that those are silent E's. Oldie English Bulldoggy is not a breed. There's no such thing. Okay, those are silent E's on there, buddy. Cut it out. Old English Bulldog. So he called the IOEBA, the International Old English Bulldog Association, and asked them if they would register his dog or his litter that was half English Bulldog and half American Bulldog as Old English Bulldogs. And what she said was, yes, you can apply for a single registry on both parents, and those would be F1 Old English Bulldogs. The fictional litter that he spoke of, because he doesn't own an English Bulldog, and he doesn't own any quality American Bulldogs, and he's never owned an Old English Bulldog ever in his life. And he always gets on there and says that the Old English Bulldog is extinct. I'm going to get back to that in a second. That's another complete piece of BS that he says to fit his little bimbo narrative that he's always trying to push. The fact of the matter is that they told him he could, yes, if they get approved, if the parents both get approved for single registration, his litter would be F1 Oldies. He's sitting up here saying that the Oldies are extinct. You can't make an Oldie. An Oldie is not extinct. It didn't exist until 15 years ago, 10 years ago, in any way at all. It started based on some of the work that Levitt did. Okay? So it's not an extinct breed. The breed didn't exist until somebody made it, ever. It's somebody's interpretation of what bulldogs, English bulldogs, maybe used to look like 100 plus years ago. A more functional, more active and energetic animal, okay? Which is the truth. So it's someone's interpretation of what the bulldog used to look like, the current English bulldog. Okay, it's not extinct. It never existed until someone made it. And you have no say in that. Kwame Winston, convicted animal abuser, you have no say in that, bro. None. Zero. You call the registry, who is heavily involved in and highly respected in and for their development and their role in the development of the Old English Bulldog. You don't have a say. They're developing the breed currently. It's a breed that's still in development. F1s are allowed. It's not paper hanging. It's not against the rules. It's documented, and it's exactly what you're on your YouTube channel saying that you're trying to do every day. Make your own registry, keep records, and have your own bulldog. The Old English Bulldog isn't extinct. It's a new breed, you idiot. Holy crap. And then he wants to get off the phone and say, oh man, look, see how phony they are, like he just exposed them. No, that's their policy. And anybody who breeds Old English American Bulldogs or Old English Bulldogs or American Bulldogs or is involved with any of these registries knows that you can still do F1s. Just like you could still do F1s in the late 80s and early 90s when Don Matthews did some of the crosses that he did. Don Matthews, one of the main and most prominent figures in the development of the American Bulldog. Again, the American Bulldog, similar, with a little bit longer history to the Old English Bulldog, was never extinct. Okay? It was a breed that was made. Okay? They didn't hang papers. They made the breed, you dumbass. How can you hang papers when you're the one making them? Huh? Alan Scott and John D. Johnson made the American Bulldog. They gave it that name. It didn't exist before they gathered from different isolated populations of plantation and working farm and protection dogs across the South, isolated, completely different from each other. They amassed yards of those dogs, and then because the gene pool was too small still to make a viable breed from, you need a lot of source material. It takes a lot of dogs and a lot of genetics to make a new breed, okay? And they didn't have enough. So they introduced other types of dog into what they were able to amass to make an American Bulldog. It did not exist before Alan Scott and John D. Johnson. It did not exist. They got it recognized by a major registry themselves. They did the work over the course of 30 years, starting in the 1960s, and you have no knowledge of that. None. Because you have no history in American Bulldogs. You read something online every day and then spit that shit like you got firsthand knowledge of it. You can't sit up here and say Don Matthews, Alan Scott, and John D. Johnson were fraudulent. They are the builders of the American Bulldog. They made it. It was their dream, their idea, and they made it actuality through decades of work. And you want to sit up here and talk, oh, they did this, they did that, and they hung paper. No, they didn't hang no papers. They invented the breed of dog that you're talking about. You idiot. Stop getting up here and acting like you're exposing somebody for something when you have no knowledge of the subject at all.